Hello, Steve White, Steve White 89. Well, Secret Window is another one of those Stephen King films that I saw and forgot. And I bought on DVD and I put it aside and I didn't watch it again and I couldn't remember it. And I just remember it being good, but I couldn't remember anything about it. So I thought I have to watch it. So I'm having a bit of a Stephen King marathon where I'm going back and revisiting all the films that I either haven't watched for years or only watched once. And this is one of those ones I saw it in the cinema and I watched it once on DVD when I bought it. And I couldn't remember what happened to it. I know Johnny Depp was in it. I know that I remember there was a guy who basically is hassling this guy. Basically, it's a writer. He's staying in a cabin after his wife has left him for another man, and she's living in his former house with her. And he's basically just sleeping away his days, depressed, trying to do some writing, but not really getting much done. Just him and his dog at this cabin. And then one day, this guy knocks on the door. His name is Shooter, and he says, "You stole my story." He's a hick. And he basically threatens him and he says, "I didn't steal your story, leave me alone." He keeps coming back and he says, "Look, I can prove I didn't steal your story," because he leaves the story there and he eventually does read it after his cleaning lady pulls it out of the bin and everything. And it's like, it is the same story that I wrote, but I wrote mine 2 years before you and it was published. I can prove it. Then he can't find the magazine. His wife has a copy at his old house. But the house is burnt down. He hires someone to protect him because his dog is killed and that guy's killed. Another guy who saw this guy Shooter and him talking is killed. But it's all a bit strange. And eventually you realise, and spoilers, that the guy is not who he seems. Actually, I won't totally spoil it in case you haven't seen it. But yes, the killer is not who you think it is. And it's an interesting Murder, She Wrote sort of reveal, and you get a little bit of an explanation, a little bit of special effects with our multiple characters. And eventually the story is sort of lived because he wanted him to rewrite the ending, and he did rewrite the ending in his real life. And the ending is kind of shocking because there's one character who dies, and I was kind of fine with that because I didn't like him. But then one of the main characters you think it couldn't die, dies. And that's the end of the film. Now, the police chief knows what's happened, but he can't prove it. So he visits, and the guy's just like, it's all about the ending. And I don't want to give too much of it away. It's just, it is a good film. It's a very small film, like the cabin, it's very small. And it's mostly just him by himself. There are scenes with his wife and they go to the lawyers and everything and the boyfriend. They're on the street in New York and everything. And I think that takes away from the film. Kind of like the original Shining where they did that a bit. They should have just kept it much smaller, and having his wife involved should have just been on the phone and just him talking to her. He didn't need to visit the house. He didn't need to go there. Even when the house burnt down, he didn't actually need to actually go because he goes... He sees the house, he speaks to the wife, he speaks to the ex, they go to the lawyer, they talk about the property and what was lost and insurance and all this. And even though the film is quite short, they could have done without that scene because I think it brings you too far out of the head trip that this film is, because you're very much in this guy's head and his depression, his anxiety, his paranoia about this man who's threatening him. And it's a good film. Johnny Depp is good in it. He's not entirely likable, but you're still with him for pretty much the whole journey. But I'm going to leave it there. I can't talk much more without actually ruining the ending. I don't want to, just in case someone... Sometimes people just watch reviews before seeing films. So yeah, I'm a little picky about what I spoil. Some films doesn't matter. Some films it really does matter. And I didn't see this coming the first time, second time. I vaguely remembered the ending this time. I'm like, it's not, but it is. And then, yeah, but I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. The small townness and the isolation work. And like I said, the only thing that ruins it is they go outside of it a bit too much. And the scenes that really work are when you're really not sure what's happening, why it's happening, and you just feel that sense of being trapped and not sure what's happening and how to how this character sort of tries to save himself is interesting. And yeah, I can't say much more without actually ruining it. Should have thought about that before I decided to do a review of it. But either way, it's good. Glad I have it on video. I will watch it again, even though I might need to wait long enough till I forget the ending so I can enjoy it again. Because this is the third time I've watched it, and the third time I've been surprised because I left so long in between watching it that I actually forgot the ending. I'm going to go. Thanks. Bye.